fortnight, half a month, however you want to look at it. We're going to be out there quite a while together. Now, if you do look above your heads, you can see those game spotting guides. I help you identify creatures out there. Now, I have to check in with a warden as well before we head in. Let's see if we can't get him on the horn. Airborne Patrol. This is Symbol 1. Who's flying around up there this afternoon? Oh, Jumbo Wilson. Someone's going to be heading to the reserve at the Little Aturi Forest. Over.
I'm Jumbo, Simba 1. Keep your eyes open and drive carefully. You should see lots of animals.
Alright, roger that. Listen, now folks, if you look on the left, you may be able to spot some greater kudu back behind that tree. Hard to see it. It's a tame animal with white stripes. You can just see its ears back there on the left. There's a couple of them, actually. Really hard to see through those leaves. And of course, those are okapi on the right. Now, the okapi are one of the most elusive animals in the forest. They weren't discovered until 1901 by the Western world. And until then, a lot of people thought they were an urban legend or a myth. And they do appear to be related to the zebra with those stripes, but they're the only living relative of the giraffe. Have the same long tongues that giraffe have, using to pull leaves off of tree branches out here. Oh, on the left is this big watering hole that plays home to one of the most endangered rare animals here in Africa. Those are black rhinos. Fewer than 5,000 of these beautiful rhinos left. They weigh about 3,000 pounds, running speeds of 35 miles an hour. Have a 1-inch thick hide. All those factors put together has earned them a reputation of being nearly indestructible. And they pretty much are, folks. Except at the hands of humans. Really the only thing they have to worry about out here. Yeah. Wow. Been a pretty formidable foe up for the last 4 decades with those animals. So hopefully we'll be able to turn it around and get their numbers way back up where they belong. Now you notice a lot of the animals out here blend in really well with their surroundings. It's a defense mechanism. That way they don't have to outrun predators all the time. They just sort of disappear and melt away into the background. On the left, you have with some whitebirds with yellow bills wandering around back there. They're yellow-billed stork. Oh, and there's a bongo lying down back there as well on the left-hand side behind the bamboo. Really hard to see. It's a brown animal with white stripes. So look all the way back in that left-hand side corner. Those big black and white birds, those are saddle-billed stork. Tallest stork in Africa is sitting about 5 feet tall and 8 to 9 Alright folks, now we're heading towards the Sapi River, which hopefully means we'll get to spot some kiboko. That's a Swahili word for the Nile hippopotamus. They're one of the largest animals in Africa. Males weigh about 5,000 pounds when fully grown. Born weighing around 85 pounds or so. There's that hippo. Now they generally hang out in the water most of the day because they can hold their breath anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes at a time. Sink like a stone all the way down, walk around to get from place to place. It's led to a bit of a misconception about the hippos that they can't swim, but that's not true. They can. They just prefer to walk around. Those whitebirds, those are pink-backed pelicans. They are a cooperative species that will work together to herd schools of fish into the shallows. One of the very few birds that do that. Most others keep to themselves. They're also nesting right now. It takes about 30 days for those eggs to incubate and hatch. Another 60 to 90. They're going to make their first flight. Big hippos back there on the left. They live in big groups called pods. And they're very social creatures, the hippos. Another one over there on the left-hand side. Now just around this river bend is going to be a rickety old bridge we have to cross over, folks. So do remember to remain seated for me once we get there. Yeah, because they're Nile crocodiles over on the left. Now they are bigger and more aggressive than their cousin. They reckon alligators. They go up to 20 feet in length. Close their powerful jaws with 1,200 pounds for spraying so forth. Go ahead and put him down for me, sir, on your lap. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and get out of here sooner rather than later, because I always feel like those hippos are just a little bit on the hungry side.
Simba 1, come in.
Oh, it's Wilson. Hey, Wilson, this is Symbol 1. Over.
Just wanted to let you know that my ground patrol has seen a lot of elephant activity near the red clay pit.
Elephants, huh?
You definitely want to check out that area.
Alright, roger that. Wilson and Son takes on for that tip. We're going to head towards those clay pits in just a little bit, folks. Now on the right, you can see that baobab tree. That tree can live for 2,000 years. It's one of the oldest plant species on Earth, and it goes leafless 9 months out of the year. It's how I got the nickname Upside Down Tree from the locals that live in the area, because it looks like its roots are sticking straight up in the air. It does that so it can hold moisture in the thick trunk that it has. during the giraffe parts here. Oh, and one of the best views in the reserve is coming up on the left. These are the Serengeti grasslands. They stretch for hundreds of miles across East Africa. They're like a natural superhighway for millions of migratory animals every year. They play home to some of the most famous species on the reserve, like lions, giraffes, of course those elephants we're going to see a little bit later on. It's all part of that wild Africa that we're working so hard to conserve here in the village of Rambe. Ooh, and on the right there's going to be a termite mound that's been worn down by an elephant. They use them as scratching posts anytime they get a really nice itch. Because they're as hard as stone when they dry and the termites get done making them. Now elephants are big animals, so it doesn't take them very long to wear down those hills. Little creatures called Thompson's gazelle will jump on top of them, use them as lookout stands, see if they can't spot any lions or cheetahs through the tall grasses. It takes years for a termite mound like this one just in front of us to get fully developed and built. It only takes a few months at the most for an elephant to wear one down to the point where those Thompson's gazelles start taking an interest in them. We're going to get a really awesome look at some giraffe coming up on the left-hand side, folks, so you get those cameras ready. There are two species of giraffe that live on the reserve. These all appear to be Maasai giraffe. Yeah, these four are Maasai giraffe indeed. They're the smaller of the two species, standing somewhere between 14 to 19 feet in height.
Hey, buddy. Look at that, huh? How cute, huh? Reminds me I was young.
The reticulated giraffe.
Wow, he's cool.
A little bit taller, anywhere from 18 to 20 feet in height. And they get their name from the Latin word for neck, which is reticulata. Hopefully we'll see one of those around here as well. We're lucky a few. Now all giraffe have 7 vertebrae in their neck, which is the same number that humans have. Their bones are just much bigger than ours, folks. They can have about an inch of tongue for every foot of height, so an 18-foot tall giraffe can have an 18-inch long tongue. You might see that big tongue sticking out of their mouths. They use them to trim down the trees under here on the underside, thin out that canopy, which allows more light to shine through, lets more grasses grow. So the grazers, like Patch, Zealand, and Collie cattle coming up already, they can mow down all those grasses, and then you shoot the